Suffering is an addiction. Suffering's a habit. It's an addiction. And there's the good news, because it means that it can be overcome. So do you want to experience freedom and joy and radiance and peace? Oh, what a stupid question. Of course you do. If you don't want to experience those things, click off. Because today's video is going to bake your noodle, bend your spoon, fry your brain, and you're not going to be the same person at the end of it. Because my guest today, our special guest, is Don Miguel Ruiz. And today we're taking a deep dive into this beautifully profound, very short little book, The 4 Agreements. Domestication and the dream of the planet. I need to give you a little bit of context before we go into the 4 agreements. And if you feel this is taking a little bit long, just put me on 3 times the speed and it'll be all over with very quickly. You get all the wisdom and then you can go away. Ruiz uses an incredible metaphor here to explain how we as individuals have arrived with these stories. So we all have a belief system. We didn't choose this belief system. It was visited upon us by our parents and all carers, by our school systems, by the media, increasingly so, by religion. And we, as little beings, believed this and accepted it, and it's become like a rigid, it's become like a faith. And what's manifested as a result of this belief system that we've marinated in, that we believe is the truth, is we have created what Ruiz calls a book of law. And we look for proof in our environment to justify this book of law. And when we try and act outside of that, we feel this knot of fear in our solar plexus, and it pulls us back, and it pulls us back into line, and it limits us. We then also have, marshalling this book of law, is an inner judge. We judge ourselves, we judge others, but just think of it as another presence within your being, this inner judge. It judges everything according to this book of law. And we are then victimized by this system, by the set of beliefs that we hold. And your beliefs are different to my beliefs, and I hold up my beliefs as the truth, and I judge myself according to these beliefs, and I judge you according to these beliefs, and there's a hell of a lot of judgment going on. And then we fall short of that because it's not the truth. You can't live in something and define yourself by something that isn't the truth. And we then become the victim, and we carry the blame and the shame and the guilt, and we have this idea of, poor me, I'm not good enough, I'm not intelligent enough, I'm not worthy of love. And the big judge agrees and says, yes, that is correct, you're not good enough. But the truth is that all of this is a big fat ass lie. But we trust what we believe, and this belief sets us up for suffering, because we believe it so deeply that it's in the realms of faith. And as I mentioned, we look for proof, and it makes us, this book of lies, living in this book of laws, it makes us feel safe. And when we go against that, we feel the fear. And this has been reinforced in us by a series of punishment and reward. And so we're drawn to the reward, we're drawn to feeling good, we're drawn to pleasing, we're drawn to fitting in on other people's terms. And of course, we all know, you know, my darlings, we love to be right. We're addicted to be right. And so we try and make the whole world wrong so that we can uphold the system of beliefs. And it takes a tremendous amount of personal power to sustain this. It takes a tremendous amount of energy. So what Ruiz has gifted us with this is all his jazz, by the way. None of this is really coming from it's coming from my mouth, but it's his wonderful wisdom. And I am attempting to live this. But anyway, what Ruiz has gifted us with are 4 agreements that will take us from this hellish place that we find ourselves in into heaven. Hold on, I've got some cheat notes here in pencil. Hold on, what does it say? It will give us the personal power to change the system of agreement. I already said that. Okay, this is going swimmingly. Right, are you ready? The first agreement. Be impeccable with your word. He describes the word as a sword. Hang on, have I got any cheat notes here in pencil? Oh, it's the most important one. I can't read my cheat notes now. It sounds simple, but is very powerful. A tool of magic. You come and try and do this. It's really tricky. Anyway. Right. He describes this as he describes your word as a sword. And it can, this is so simple, isn't it? It can destroy your word, can destroy everything around you, or your word can create the most beautiful dream. And what the hell was I talking about there? Oh, little beans. Oh, yes. How fertile is your mind to the seeds of the words of others when people speak an unkindness or you're fat, you're ugly, you're stupid, and it lands on fertile soil. We water it and it takes root in our minds. We think it must be true. So we go about trying to prove everybody, trying to prove that we are right. Yes, I am stupid. I'll show you how stupid I am. Yes, I am ugly. I'll show you how ugly I am. Even if it's something that's awful and untrue. So what Ruiz says is why you must be impeccable with your word is yes, you hurt others, but you also hurt yourself. And he says being impeccable with your word is not using the word against yourself. So here we have a gal, and she's got sharpened teeth, and she says to this fella, "You're so stupid." And she launches this emotional poison, and he receives it. And it lands because it's touched a wound on some level. He feels stupid. And then he expels a lot of hatred back in her direction. So in saying that, she has not only hurt him, although, it wouldn't have landed with him had he not felt so stupid in the first place. And it comes back as hatred. So you are injuring yourself versus standing in truth and, oh my God, hold on, I have a collapse here. I'll be back. Pause the game. Okay. Back in business. I will not be defeated, Judge. Do you hear me? Do you hear me? We're just getting to the important part. Mind you, it's all important. So, right, where was I? Truth, love for yourself. Yes. Okay, so we had this idea of the vitriolic, you're so stupid, and it coming back to you as hatred, and then you're just stuck in that endless loop. Versus a kind comment. So you're working on your heart and you are saying something kind. Thank you. I appreciate you. And you sending kindness. It's like an emotional balm. This gets received and it gets sent back to you as love. And you then change the whole dynamic for yourself and for the other. Be impeccable with your word. Oh, now, don't fall again. I've got this propped up on books. Ironically, the book is Discipline is Destiny and Courage is Calling by Ryan Holiday. So this whole presentation, this whole video is propped up by discipline and courage. That's the truth. We're still on being impeccable with your words. So Ruiz says that we have learned to lie to ourselves and to others. We use the word to curse, to blame, to destroy. We create, and he likens harsh, cruel, unkind words and actions, I suppose, but we're focusing on words here particularly as a kind of poison. He says we create it, we spread it, just so that we can feel right about our point of view, and it's not necessarily true. We use personal poison to express our anger, jealousy, our envy, and our hate, and we keep each other, we keep one another in a state of fear and doubt. He says we must let go of the need to defend our position, and this is a really old habit. I need a drink of water. I need a cup of tea. I'll be right back. Okay, I decided went for an appetizer instead of a cup of tea. Not sponsored. Oh, and this book, not sponsored, nothing sponsored, because I just want to give you the truth, and you can go onto Amazon and purchase yourselves a copy of this beautiful book by the incredible Don Miguel Ruiz. Right, so I needed to pause actually just before I speak about gossip, because what's left to talk about? Gossip, it's like it's quite a cohesive thing. When you are gossiping, you feel close to people, you feel a sense of connection. Misery loves company. We use gossip to bring each other down. Hold on, I've got some cheat notes here. Let me just see the pencil. Yes, Ruiz says the word is magic. It's like a magic that humans possess. Misuse of the word is black magic. We use black magic all the time without knowing our word is magic at all. And we gossip and we bring each other down. And Ruiz says this is the worst black magic. It is pure poison. And as kids, we would hear the adults around us gossiping and gossiping about people that they don't even know. And he says that the misuse of language puts us and others in a state of hell if we are not being impeccable with our word. So we gossip, and as I said, we feel a sense of belonging. We feel that bonding, and that sharing makes us feel close. It's all very sly, isn't it? It's all so sly and so cruel, and we try and make ourselves feel better when we see someone feeling as badly as we do. So how do you deal with that? What do you do? Gosh, I just find that, I don't know, I'm just becoming a little quiet at the moment, because I think I have been guilty. Of course I've been guilty of gossiping. I'd like to stand here and say I've got it all right. I don't. Maybe I should add a bit of wine to this and spice things up a bit. No, don't worry. There's lots to do here. You change the subject. You say something positive, you walk away, or you stay silent. Ruiz says that he's a quiet man, and I can actually see why. So not only must we be impeccable with our word and not gossip about others and bring others down, we mustn't talk nasty to ourselves. We mustn't say unkind things to ourselves. I mean, just think of the way you speak to yourself. Catch yourself doing it. You're so stupid. My God, you're never going to be able to do this. In this video, oh man, I've been on such a journey. Oh, they're going to hate it. So how can you, they're going to be so bored. It's like, oh, shut up. Just get on with it. I remember years and years ago, I was a little girl and we were coming back from swimming lessons, and we were being transported in this, in South Africa we call it a bakkie. It's like an open, a van but with no top on. And I remember feeling the wind in my hair, and I'd been training. I was quite a competitive swimmer, and I was feeling beautiful and energized and gorgeous. And there was another girl sitting opposite me, and she glared at me and she said, "Oh, you think you're so great, don't you?" I was quite a good swimmer. I was the best. "You think you're so amazing, don't you?" Oh, I'll never forget that. It just brought me down. And it's taken me a lifetime to silence that voice that says it's somehow wrong and disgusting to love yourself, to celebrate yourself. Yeah, we've got a lot of work to do here, my darlings, a lot of work, but it's really, really exciting. So when we're impeccable with our word, and we do it increasingly, and I can't say that I'm there yet, but give me a while, the emotional poison is eventually cleaned out. Oh, what I meant to tell you here, sorry, do I need to reshoot this whole video? Anyway, I'm just going to keep going, darlings. I'm just going to keep going. This is so important. He likens gossip to a computer virus. He said it is like when you gossip and you put an idea into somebody's mind, it causes the mind to glitch, to slow down, to stop producing good results. Hold on, I've got some crib notes here. Imagine that when people gossip about you, they send a virus into your mind, causing you to think less clearly. In an effort to clear your own confusion and get some relief from the poison, you gossip and you spread the virus to someone else in a never-ending pattern. And I just think that is such a powerful analogy. So yes, we develop immunity to the cruelty of others. Our minds are no longer fertile seeds for other people to plant happily and then feed off our misery. You feel good, you feel at peace, you feel happy, and you transcend the dream of hell. You experience personal freedom, success, and abundance. And that is where the stepping into your next glorious act, because we truly do then step fully into our next glorious act. And the fear that we feel every time we try and step away from the belief systems and transgress that book of law we've made, it transforms into joy and love. How flipping cool is all of this? How amazing. So that's the first agreement. The second agreement, don't take anything personally. The next three agreements are born of the first. The first one is the most difficult. And Ruiz says if we get that one right, we will come a long way. And the next three are in support of that. So you may recognize this lady, this vitriolic lady. She says, with her sharpened teeth and her blackened, angry heart, she says, "You're so stupid." Sends the emotional poison. He receives it. And let's just stop here for a minute, because Ruiz says it is an act of pure selfishness. If we take things personally, he says it's an act of pure selfishness because we think everything is about me, everything is about us. And we take it personally because we agree with what is said, and we let the poison go through us. We take offense, and then we defend, and then we create conflict, and then we need to be right, and so we need to make everybody wrong. And none of that would have happened had those words not touched a wound in the first place. So when we are hearing things, it is good. There's the lady, "You're so stupid," emotional poison. But if we can just stop and realize that everything they are saying is according to and scripted by their own book of law, their own set of beliefs, and it has absolutely nothing to do with us. Nothing. There's a liberating thought. When you don't take the emotional, oh, here's a little bit of something. I quite like this. I don't know, maybe it's cruel of me, but I quite like this idea. When you don't take the emotional poison, it becomes even worse in the sender, but not in you. And then equally, we must not take anything we think about ourselves personally, because again, so much of our narrative, so much of what we're telling ourselves is informed by that book of law and that system of beliefs that was visited on us and that fills us with fear every time we try and step out of it. What crib notes have I got here? Yeah. He mentions that we have as well, which makes it even more complex, is the opinions that we hold of ourselves are often at odds with each other. So this journey, very, very liberating. And here, as I started, I mentioned that we are addicted to suffering to various degrees. And you know what's so interesting is we help each other to suffer. Have you, this little guy, that's the back of a guy, and there's a sign on his back that says, "Kick me." Have you ever been with somebody who makes you bristle and you can't, you speak ill because they invite it, they taunt and they passive aggressive and they invite you to judge them and condemn them and to criticize them? You know somebody like that. We all do. I wonder if I've been like that sometimes. Maybe. Some people really need to suffer, and being with them, you itch to abuse them. They are asking for justification of their suffering. You know, those people that bring out the worst in us. I've had to leave relationships because that relationship has just brought out the worst in me, and I wasn't yet a warrior, and so I just had to extricate myself. Some people we work with, we have to deal with them, so we try and not so I suppose when people are provoking, behaving obnoxiously, goading, we don't take it personally. We are impeccable with our word. If you've seen the last video, I spoke about letting go. You sit with it, sit with the feeling until it passes. Not taking anything personally, Ruiz reassures us that anger, jealousy, and envy will disappear. Sadness will disappear. Immunity, we develop immunity from black magicians. It helps us to break the many habits that trap us in the dream of hell and cause us this needless suffering, and we experience that inner peace and happiness. I think these are really worthwhile goals. So we're nearly there, because agreement 1 and agreement 2, Ruiz reassures us, will take us to 75% of annihilating and dissolving or burning or shattering or smashing or whatever the accumulated agreements that keep us stuck in hell. Have I got any little wisdoms here? Yes, you are not responsible for the actions of others. You are responsible for you. Oh, I did another video on that. I've kind of been warm. I've kind of been on the right track. And then, darlings, the third agreement. Don't make assumptions. You know that assumptions, you assume, you make an ass of you and an ass of me. That's exactly it. So everything, this must happen between the stimulus and the response. And it can be, we can make an assumption, we don't even know we're doing it, and it can be unconscious. We make assumptions, so we've got to learn to create space between the stimulus and the response. because all of our wisdom is going to depend on our ability to just arrest in that moment and make a different decision in terms of how we're going to respond. We make oh, did I nearly kick that again? That's fine. We make assumptions and we believe that they are the truth, because there's a part of our brain that likes to make sense of everything. So we cobble together an idea of what we think it is, and then we cement it, and then we take it personally and we react, and we start gossiping, and we spread that poison, and we spread it to others who spread it to others, and it just, we trying to justify ourselves, and so we spread that poison and we create chaos because we misunderstand and misinterpret everything. My daughter-in-law, my beautiful girl, my son and daughter-in-law and the children came the other day, and it was many weeks ago actually, and I had just had an experience, and in my mind I'd made an assumption, and it seemed quite a well-founded assumption, and I had been so angry, and I had it had affected my sleep that night, and they arrived and I was so cross and I was even crying, and my beautiful son was, you know, just being so loving. And my daughter-in-law listened to my little story, my little gossip, and she's so brave, she's so lovely. She said, but that's just an assumption. And I just I just saw it so clearly. And I will remember that story, because fortunately I was venting to these trusted, beautiful people who know how to keep a sacred space, and it didn't actually go any further. But you know what I'm talking about. You can think for yourself of your own examples where you have made an assumption and then railed and spread instead of asking for clarification. Fear stops us from asking for clarification. Ruiz said it is always better to ask. So here we have a couple. They're in love, and they sort of telling lies to each other, and sweet nothings. I suppose the lies are based on their own worldviews. And then inside, in the recesses of her mind, she's thinking, oh yes, my love will change him. And he's whispering sweet nothings, and in his mind he's thinking, my love will change her, my love will change her too. But real love doesn't seek to change. Real love, we accept each other 100% as we are. Real unconditional love. And I know that love because I feel it for my children. I need to learn to feel it for more people, I think, but it's a journey. And then pow, suddenly we see what, or we see what we did not want to see before, and now it's worse because it's amplified by our emotional poison. You justify your emotional pain, and then you blame your partner for your choices. Ruiz says the day we stop making assumptions, we will communicate clearly, we will communicate freely, free of emotional poison. And it takes a little bit of courage, but we learn to ask questions, and we ask questions and seek clarification from those around us. And it does take courage. And then we ask for what we want, and the person can say yes or they can say no. End of story. So step number 1, we need to become aware of these habits and these routines. We need to become aware of the stimulus, arrest ourselves at that point before we respond, and then we choose our response. Because as Viktor Frankl says, we can choose our actions. We can't choose what happens to us, what gets said to us, but we can choose how we respond. Have I got any secret pencil jazz here? Step number 3. Step 2. Take action over and over. It strengthens our will. We repeat, we fail, we try these agreements, we keep going, and then we get it wrong, and then we get up again and we start again. And it's like anything worthwhile takes practice. And then these new agreements become second nature. And then what is gifted to us is the magic happens. What you need comes to you. Oh, it's all very exciting. We experience peace and bliss, and hell will not touch us at all. We use the word for creation, for giving, for sharing, and for loving. We're nearly finished. The last assumption is short and sweet. And bless you for still being here. I hope this is enriching you and nourishing you as much as it has enriched and nourished me over the last few weeks. The fourth agreement, always do your best. I just need the loo quickly. I'll be right back. Always do your best. This agreement allows the other three agreements to become deeply ingrained habits. And Ruiz says so rightly that our best is different from one moment to the next. Our best will look different if we are feeling healthy or if we are feeling unwell, if we are sober, if we are drunk, if we are feeling well rested or if we are feeling exhausted, if we're feeling happy and wonderful or angry, jealous and upset. Our best will have a higher quality or it will have a lower quality. It doesn't matter. You just always do your best. One of my favorite quotations, my father used to say this, it was Roosevelt, I think, do what you can where you are with what you have. Just do your best. Because when you're doing your best, you can't judge yourself. You won't feel guilt and shame and blame, and you won't punish ourselves. This word Goldilocks, that comes from me, not from Ruiz, but it made me think of Goldilocks and the porridge, which was too hot, too cold, and then just right. And Ruiz talks about when you're doing your best, if you do too much and you go too hard, you go against yourself. When you do too little, you judge yourself, you feel guilty, you feel regretful. And when you do your best in the moment, the porridge is just right and you can sustain it. In doing your best, he reassures us, and I can see this, and I'm starting to, as I journey on this, to get little flashes of this awareness. You are going to live intensely. We will become more productive, which is a good thing. We will feel intensely happy, and we will have more enjoyment and more pleasure. And who doesn't want that? And no boredom, no frustration. No frustration. Cool. Won't that be amazing? And no regrets. And the reason we have no regrets is because, look at my little judge there with its curls, his curls. The reason we feel no regrets is because we silence the gob of the judge who tries to hold the book of law and govern us. And we can just turn around and say, I did my best. That's liberating. We accept ourselves, we learn from our mistakes, and we keep practicing. We will take action because we love it. And Ruiz expands a little on the idea of inaction, where we are denying life, we're afraid, we're zotching out in front of the television, scrolling on our phones, just trying to avoid taking the risk and feeling the fear, and we numb out. He encourages us to take action, to live fully. Hold on, I've got another note here. Without action upon an idea, there will be no manifestation, no result, and no reward. So we take, this is the little secret pencil marks here. We take the risk and express the dream, and then, Ruiz doesn't say this, I say it, but it's our thing. we step into our next glorious act. Always do your best. By doing your best with each assumption, the habits of misusing the word, your word, taking things personally, making assumptions about others, these weaken and weaken until we reach enlightenment. He does tell us, remind us, don't blame or judge or punish yourself if you can't keep these agreements. Just start again. Just keep going every day. I've got a little post-it next to my bed. That is my declaration. Today I will speak impeccably. I will not take things personally. I will not make assumptions. And I will do my best. And then I go to bed. Okay. Wake up the next day and reset. And we will keep going. And we do our best. And we will feel good. And we just keep going. Repetition, repetition, repetition. This little arrow, I drew a little bloodied arrow here to remind me of how we punish ourselves. How we punish ourselves if we have a memory of something that happened in the past, something that happened 10 years ago. We suffer right now because this arrow that pierced us and caused us to suffer 10 years ago, we've still got it with us. So we suffer. So we take that arrow and we carry it with us, and every now and then we stab ourselves. Then we change hands and we stab ourselves again. Just put the arrow down. We're making us. We are the we are the instruments of our own suffering more than anybody alive. And yes, I know there has been significant suffering visited on you by others, but nothing compared to the suffering that we perpetuate and that we keep putting ourselves through, because we will stab ourselves with the arrow. Put it down. So we do our best and we feel good, and then we experience the transformation. I'm going to make 100 videos. I wonder what I'll be like at the end of it. Maybe I'll just stand here and glow. Stand here and shine. The way of the warrior. He urges us to be impeccable. Warriors have complete control over their own emotions and therefore over their own behavior. The warrior has awareness. The warrior will control his emotions in the moment. Maybe he'll go off into another room and where nobody can see, because we need to discharge it. I don't know. Ruiz doesn't say that. But yeah, we've got to practice letting go. Anyway, I'm just rambling now. Quite the journey. Quite the journey. Thank you so much for joining me. I think perhaps next video we'll go to the beach and have a picnic and speak quietly of love, I think. Love and letting go of fear, or some such thing. But we will have a chat over a picnic, because I'm kind of in the mood. So remember, my sweethearts, my dearest darlings, you are enough exactly as you are right now. You fit in. You belong. You don't need knowledge or great philosophical concepts. You were born with everything you need. It's simple. You were born with, this is Ruiz's words, you were born with the right to be happy, the right to love, to enjoy, to share your love. Let life pass through you, because that is God passing through you. You don't need the acceptance of others. You don't need to know or to prove anything. Take a risk. and enjoy life. That is all that matters. Say no and yes when you want to. So, cheers. Go well, and I will see you next time.